What's happening, guys? Welcome back to the Jared and James channel. I'm Jared Weiss. If you guys didn't know, that must mean that you're not subscribed to the channel, so you know what to do. Hit that subscribe button, be sure to leave a like, drop a comment, let me know what you guys think of this video. Follow me on every platform. And so, anyways, for today's episode, we actually have a very special guest on. We have Nathan Savino. Please welcome to the podcast. All the way from Australia, we have Nathan Savino. So now, Nathan, do you mind first telling the people who you are, what you do, and then from there, honestly, I'm super excited to get into all the stuff talking about Gematria and like pro sports and all that stuff.
Hi guys, well my name is Nathan. Yeah, I've just it's hard to explain how I got into this. It was probably November 2022 where I came across a guy named Zach Hubbard. I don't know if you've heard of him, Jared, before.
I've never heard of him.
Anyway, he's really big into Gematria and working out games are scripted and that. And yeah, I just started following him, and that's how I started on the Gematria side of things.
Awesome. So my first question for you is, what exactly is Gematria in simplest terms? Explain that.
Okay, so it's the practice of coding letters into numbers. So A equals 1, B equals 2, Z equals 26. Mm-hmm. And yeah, that's the basic principles of it.
Awesome. So where did the concept of Gematria actually originate from? Did this start in Kabbalah? More on the other hand, did God actually use Gematria in the Bible? And then was it then taken and inverted by Satan by all these secret societies and whatnot?
I'm not totally sure.
Really?
Yeah, I'm still learning about it myself.
All right. Interesting. So next up, the big question, so many people have these days is, are pro sports scripted, rigged, manipulated, or on the other hand, could they actually be totally fair?
Well, the AFL, the Australian Football League, I've got pretty good evidence that they have to be determined by the numbers.
Really?
And I'm not saying they're definitely scripted, but
heavily manipulated though.
Yeah, lead to believe that, yeah, they definitely are scripted. But I don't like using that word. But
right. What word would you actually consider to be more fitting?
No, it's scripted. Yeah.
Scripted?
Yeah.
Really? You say pro sports are scripted. That must mean the players themselves are actually in that also. Me personally, I've actually always been someone who actually leans more towards the idea maybe it's possible for some players to be on it. I actually believe it's actually more so the referees who are manipulating the games and stuff like that. So convince me the players themselves are actually in on it also.
Well, I don't know for sure that the players are, but if you type in certain phrases that relate to grand finals in the past, it comes up with exactly the score that teams kick in grand finals.
What does that mean? Really?
Okay, so hold on a sec. Got a book here. Are you able to go on the calculator right now or not?
On the calculator? Yes, of course. All right, on the calculator.
So with the Gematria calculator.
Yes. So gematrinator.com, right?
Yep.
Is that it? All right.
Are you able to put it up on your screen or not?
Let me see if I could do that. Let's see. I've never done this before, but I should be able to though. Maybe if I share my screen, maybe that will work.
Yeah. Is that going to work? Yeah.
Let's try it out. Let's see if this works. How does that look?
Excellent. That looks freaking amazing.
Perfect.
That's not actually the right calculator. Hold on a second.
Wait. So tell me I'm on the right website then.
Yeah, I'll just copy the link now.
Is it in gematrianator.com maybe?
Can I just send it through the chat, Finn? Yeah. Yeah, that one.
Yeah.
Yep.
I got it. All right, good. All right, so.
Okay, so just go to calculators
Mm-hmm.
and just click on it. I'll just ignore that.
All right.
So type in the phrase North Melbourne Grand Final.
North Melbourne Grand Final, you said?
Final. Yep.
Uh-huh.
Okay, see how it says 122? Go to, can you put up another page, like a separate window? Like go to another page, just a blank website.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And then just type
Right.
in 1975 VFL Grand Final.
1975 AFL Grand Final. All right.
Now click on that one. Yep, so the 1975 VFL Grand Final.
The first one?
Yep, the first one. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
How many points did North Melbourne kick there?
Where does it say that?
On the right-hand side. Does it say 122?
Yes. Wow.
Okay, I've got quite a few more examples.
All right.
So,
Yes. Love this.
What do you think about that?
It sounds so interesting. Wait. Like, what does the 122 actually signify though?
It signifies what they were going to kick in the game, their score.
Interesting. Wow.
Now go back to the
That's
Gematria calculator and I'll give
wild.
you another
Uh-huh.
example.
All right.
So take out the North Melbourne bit, keep the grand final bit, and put in Brisbane Lions grand final.
How do I spell that?
So Brisbane, BRISBANE,
Uh-huh.
and then LIONS.
And then grand final.
Yep.
So now what?
Okay, so see how it says 108?
Yes.
Yep. Type in 2001 grand final.
Wow. Wait. Let me share that screen. So it says 108 right there, right?
Yep. Now, how is that possible? Tell me.
I don't know. That's actually super interesting. Wait. So how is it, how is this happening though? Who's actually deciding the results before they happen?
That's the thing. I don't know if it's a God code or not, but it can't be because you can predict this stuff before it happens.
Wait. So, but if you're able to predict stuff before it happens, then shouldn't everyone be able to bet on this stuff and
Yeah, but
make
hardly anyone knows about this
tons
shit.
of money? Have you actually been betting on this stuff by using these numbers?
I haven't put large amounts of money on it. No.
Have you actually won a lot of money from this though? Really?
I predicted the first game of the season what was going to happen in the AFL last season. I predicted a draw was going to happen.
Really? Wait. So, did you actually predict the scores also?
No, but the fact that you can predict a draw when in the AFL draws are very, very rare.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting. Do you have more examples of this?
Oh, definitely. Jesus.
Right.
I've got about 70 examples in my notepad.
Wait. So are any of these American examples?
No, Australian. Just Australian.
So,
I haven't been able to look at American ones yet.
All right, but I actually remember a few weeks ago, you actually sent me this interesting stat, talking about who was it, Roger Federer and Nadal or something. No, it had to be Djokovic and someone else. So you actually said something that was very interesting. When it actually came it's the actual odds of these two guys performing in the finals every year.
Oh yes, the Grand Slam draws from 2008 to 2011. Yes.
So, would you mind sharing that for
Oh, sure. So,
the viewers now?
can you get onto YouTube on here on that page?
I should be able to. Let's see.
Because there's a guy that explains it all online.
All right. Let's see. Let's see if we could do this.
So YouTube, yep. Now type in the word GOATOVIC. No, hold on a sec. I'll type it in on the private chat.
All right.
Okay, sent it to you.
All right, let me see. So now, which one am I pressing on?
So click on his channel. Yep, it's a good picture, isn't it?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
so, okay, go down the page a little bit. Go back up a little bit. Go back up a bit.
Oh, there we go.
One more. Odds 1 in 32 billion. Can you see that on the right-hand side of the above your cursor?
Oh,
The
yeah.
odds yeah, click on that.
All right, so let's see what this guy has to
Where
say.
does Mozzie Phillips stand on abortion?
All right, well, come on.
It is so cool
Mozzie
to talk
Phillips
to you,
and keep
though,
abortion
Yeah,
legal in New
yeah.
York.
Of course.
Five wrong, 2 years.
Like,
Dementia
an
is
absolute
type
pleasure of
3
mine. Like, to be able
diabetes
to
that
share
changes
in these
everything we know
types
about
of
memory
conversations,
loss,
like,
time.
especially with someone like
So
who's,
if
like,
you
all the
or a
way
loved one is often forgetting with brain
Australia,
fog,
like, this
then you must see
amazing.
this.
Grand Slam draws are fixed. This is not a conspiracy theory, it is a fact. A fact that has been mathematically proven. In this video, we will look at a research paper that analyzed major tournament draws between 2008 and 2011, which proved that draws have been fixed to favor Federer and Nadal. We will also cover the 2011 ESPN article, which proved that US Open draws between 2001 and 2011 were fixed to give the top 2 seeds the easiest opponents in the first round. Let's begin with the research paper from 2011, which proved with almost 100% certainty that draws were fixed to help Federer and Nadal advance to the finals of Grand Slams. To understand this research paper, it's necessary to keep in mind 3 simple concepts. The first is the rule of 50% probability. In any tennis draw, the top 2 seeded players are always on the opposite sides of the draw, so they cannot meet before the final. All other players have a 50% probability to be drawn on either side of the draw. In other words, all players have a 50% probability to be matched up with the top seeded player and 50% probability to be matched up with the second seeded player. The second key concept is favorable matchups among the big 4. As you will see in a moment, before 2008, Federer did better against Djokovic than against Murray, and Nadal did better against Murray than he did against Djokovic. And finally, favorable matchups are less important on clay, for the simple reason that Nadal was nearly unbeatable on that surface, so it didn't matter who was matched up against him. This is why the paper analyzes the draw for Roland Garros separately from the other 3 Grand Slams. The paper begins by explaining that the Grand Slam draws from 2008 to 2011 were rigged to match up Federer with Djokovic and Nadal with Murray, thus making it easier for Federer and Nadal to meet in the final. To understand the manipulation that took place, we need to look at the head-to-head results of these 4 players before 2008. We will exclude results on clay and focus only on grass and hardcourt tournaments. We will discuss clay tournaments later in the video. These are the head-to-head matchups between the 4 players on grass and hard courts before 2008. Federer led Djokovic 4 matches to 1, but he was even with Murray, while Nadal never lost to Murray, but lost 2 of his 5 matches against Djokovic. Evidently, back then, Federer had more success against Djokovic than he had against Murray, and Nadal had more success against Murray than he did against Djokovic. This becomes even more obvious if we look at the results on grass and hard courts through 2011. Federer had a winning record against Djokovic and a losing record against Murray, while Nadal had a winning record against Murray and losing against Djokovic. Taking this into account, if you wanted to fix the draw so that Federer and Nadal end up in the final, you would put Federer and Djokovic on one side of the draw and Nadal and Murray on the other side. Let's see how many times that happened in grass and hardcourt slams between 2008 and 2011. In 2008 Australian Open, Djokovic was in Federer's half of the draw and Murray in Nadal's, the matchups that favor Federer and Nadal. In 2008 Wimbledon, Djokovic was in Federer's half and Murray in Nadal's. 2008 US Open, same matchups. 2009 Australia, same. 2009 Wimbledon, same. 2009 US Open, the same matchup again. And you get where this is going. In all 12 grass and hardcourt slams between 2008 and 2011, Federer and Nadal got the more favorable matchups that would help them reach the finals. Now, earlier I mentioned the 50% rule. In each of these draws, Djokovic and Murray had a 50% chance to be drawn with either Federer or Nadal. However, the 50% probability applies to each individual draw. The odds of identical matchups happening over and over again drop exponentially with every draw. For example, the odds of 2 consecutive identical matchups are 25%. For 3 in a row, it is 12.5%, and so on. The odds that Federer and Nadal would get their favorable matchups 12 consecutive times is 0.024%. It's like getting the same result on 12 consecutive coin tosses. And there's more. As I explained before, in every draw, the top 2 seeds are placed on opposite sides. Then seeds 3 and 4 are drawn and placed on opposite sides from each other. All other seeded players are drawn separately from the top 4. Why is this important? Notice that in 5 of the Grand Slams, Murray was not among the top 4 seeds. This means that he was drawn separately from Federer, Nadal and Djokovic, who were in the top 4 in all of those events. But in each one of those draws, Murray incredibly still ended up on Nadal's side. When we take that into account, the odds of these draws happening drop to 0.008%. If you wanted to arrive at the results of draws achieved at the Grand Slams from 2008 to 2011, you would have to conduct 131,072 draws to get the same result only once. It would take you conducting 17 draws every single day for 359 years. Simply put, there is no way that these draws were random. They were fixed to favor Federer and Nadal. What about Roland Garros, the only clay slam? It was also rigged. These are the head-to-head results on clay before 2008. Murray did not yet play with either Federer or Nadal, and Djokovic had a losing record against both. Therefore, on clay it was less important where Novak was placed in the draw, as he was likely to lose to both Federer and Nadal. What was important is to keep Murray out of Federer's way, and it happened in 3 out of 4 Roland Garros tournaments. In all 16 Grand Slam tournaments between 2008 and 2011, the only time when Murray was in Federer's half of the draw was 2010 Roland Garros. But they were still not likely to meet, as Murray was in poor form. And indeed, he barely survived the first match and eventually lost badly in the 4th round. Ladies and gentlemen, this research paper proves beyond reasonable doubt that the draws in these 16 Grand Slams were rigged. Any reasonable person will reach this conclusion after considering the evidence we just covered. Unfortunately, there are many unreasonable people in the world today. Many people wouldn't recognize the truth if it bit them in the ass. And even more people will reject the truth because it's inconvenient to them. But if you still have any doubt that the draws have been manipulated, we have the 2011 ESPN article which proved that the US Open draws were rigged to give the top 2 seeds the easiest opponents in the first round. An ESPN analysis of Grand Slam draws from 2001 to 2011 showed that the top 2 seeds in the US Open faced easier opponents in the first round than it is statistically probable. The researchers examined rankings of players the top 2 seeds faced in the first round. They conducted an experiment in which they simulated the draws for 41 Grand Slams that took place between 2001 and 2011. And they repeated these simulations 1,000 times. When they compared the results of the simulations to the real draws, they found that in the US Open, the top 2 seeds, on average, faced easier opponents in the first round than it is statistically probable. To ensure that they ran the experiment correctly, the researchers consulted with Dr. Andrew Swift, an expert for statistics in sports. Not only did Dr. Swift confirm that their method was correct, but he ran the same simulations 1 million times and got nearly identical results. He said, quote, "Any way you want to look at these, there is significant evidence here that these did not come from a random draw."
That's super interesting.
In other words, US Open first round draws were also rigged. And who, you might ask, are the players who benefited the most from this manipulation? From 2001 to 2011, Federer was among the top 2 seeds at the US Open 8 times, Nadal 6 times, and Djokovic and Murray only 1 time each. The only time Djokovic was in the top 2 was 2011 US Open, at the very end of this period. Some will surely argue that the manipulation of the first round draws at the US Open was not intended to help any specific players. It just so happened that Federer and Nadal benefited the most. But there is no denying that manipulation took place. I mentioned earlier that the probability of Grand Slam draws from 2008 to 2011 was more than 1 in 131,000. When we add to that the anomalies found in the US Open first round draws, the probability of both of these incredible coincidences happening simultaneously drops to 1 in 32 billion. Let's cut the bullshit. The draws were fixed. Take a moment to consider what this means in the bigger picture. We have not 1, but 2 independent studies which proved that Grand Slam draws were fixed. And one of those studies proved that the draws were fixed to favor Federer and Nadal at the expense of Djokovic and Murray. Keep that in mind next time some moron tells you that the only thing that matters in the so-called GOAT race is the number of Grand Slams. But these 2 studies prove something much more important, that ATP and the tournament organizers are corrupt. Furthermore, they prove that these corrupt organizations favor Federer and Nadal. This is not surprising to anyone who knows about the ties between Federer's management agency, Nadal's academy, the ATP, and tournament organizers. There is much to say about the conflicts of interest in tennis, and I will cover it in another video. Going back to the main subject, both studies that we reviewed only covered the period until 2011. The question is, have tournament organizers continued to fix draws since then? Yes, they have, although it's no longer so obvious. After 2011, we no longer see the same pattern of Djokovic versus Federer and Nadal versus Murray, for one simple reason. Since 2011, Djokovic has been so dominant over both Federer and Nadal that continuing to fix the draws in the same way didn't make sense. Since 2011, Djokovic is 8-1 against Federer in Australia, Wimbledon and US Open, and he is 5-1 against Nadal in those tournaments. The last time Federer beat him was 2012, and the last time Nadal did was 2013. Because of this and a few other reasons, the organizers had to find a different way to sabotage Novak. We will talk about this in the next video. Until then, thank you for watching.
Yeah, based on that, like, do you actually think that the players themselves actually know what's going on? Like, more on the other hand, like,
You have to.
How though?
Well, or do you think it's just the coaches? What do you think?
I don't know. Here, wait. Let me just figure out like how to close this tab. All right, wait. All right, so like me personally, like maybe I just like believe him too much, like in him the goodness like of him humanity. It's like when I believe him like every single player like is like in on it, but like in the same breath, especially like over like the past like few years, my obviously seen like a lot of people like who are totally willing to go along with like whatever narrative, like whether it be like any of the and many of the people like who like totally sold out like to like promote like the jabs and stuff like that, like and then like also like on top of that like so many players like I've also like heard that like tons of players like part of these secret societies and stuff like that. So it's like I wouldn't doubt it like totally, but like in the same breath, I just like find like hard to believe and like every player like is like in on it. So like based on that, like me personally, I would venture more towards like like the coaches are in on it, like the referees like are in it, like the officiators like in it. I mean like maybe 10% like of them the players like are in it, but like the rest like I don't think are. I don't know though.
But Jared, you have to remember, like all the American sports players, all the Australian ones, they all took the injections, so they're all submissive in that way. So
Willing to
what's
sell
to
out,
stop
you
them
mean?
from being manipulated?
True. It's definitely interesting. How would every player be in on it though?
Easy. They're professionals. They know what to do. It's actually quite easy when you think about it. They're paid so much money to do it.
So like based on that, like, do you think like all this like competition is actually it's like giant like acting job maybe even?
Yeah. Yep.
Really?
It is a giant acting job. Yep.
That's so crazy though. I got like about like ways like I actually find
And
so
by
like
the way, I used to
hard to
be
believe.
a big AFL fan. I've got so many books and that
Really?
about the sport. Yeah.
Wow. All right, wait. So like, show me two more examples from
Okay.
your book, and then from there, like, would love to talk like more about like the larger like implications of this, like, and like how these people like actually conduct these massive like operations and like whatnot.
Okay, get the calculator up.
All right, let me see.
I'll show you.
All right,
Okay,
all
I
right.
just sent you another thing to type in.
All right, let's see. All right, so Hawks beat Eagles.
And by the way,
Right.
the draw that I tipped the first game of the season last year, I put $1 on it and it paid $61.
Really?
I should have put
Wow.
more in hindsight.
Yeah.
See how it's got 139.86?
Uh-huh.
Type
Right.
in 1991 AFL Grand Final.
1991, you said?
Yep. AFL Grand Final.
And now what are we looking at?
Does it say 139.86?
Yes. Yes, it does. That's like so crazy though. Like,
It's not crazy. It is crazy, but it's not crazy.
But like, how come more people like aren't like betting on stuff?
Because no one knows about it. It's been purposely hidden.
It's like, how do you think the controllers like hide this from us?
It's just brainwashing from watching the TV and having indoctrination of watching sports at a young age. That's how it
distraction.
is.
I mean, like keeping everyone like distracted, like keeping everyone like trusting authorities all the time,
Yep.
all that stuff. Wow, it's honestly mind blowing. Like you're actually starting to convince me more along the lines of scripted, like rather than like
Okay, I've got one more for you.
just
This one will really freak you out.
rigged. All right.
Type in grand final draw.
All right.
Grand final draw. Yep. Okay, so see how it says 69 there?
Yes.
Type in 1948 VFL Grand Final. So go back. Yep, 1948. Yep, the first one. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Does it say 69 there?
Yes. Wow.
And now go back to the page. Stay on that one. Go back on the previous page and type in Grand Final replay. So instead of the word draw, put replay.
Uh-huh.
Does it say 89? Go back to the previous page.
Yes, it says 89. And
on the previous page, it says 89.
Yes. Melbourne 89, it says.
Yep.
Wow. That's honestly like so crazy.
Is this one of the better things you've worked out so far?
Yes.
I know it's not a competition, but I think it's pretty amazing.
So far, like, that thing might be the most mind blowing one I've done so far. I was definitely familiar with how like some of the stuff works. Like actually seeing these examples has honestly made this episode so interesting. So far. Anyway, so like. From there, here, let me just see. So, do you think like this is going on in all sports, going there and
definitely, it has to be.
Right.
It can't just be this one.
Right. What do you think?
I'm including NBA, hockey,
MLB,
cricket, soccer,
NFL,
all that. Yep.
when you say like all the sports like are scripted, like does that actually mean like every single play like is like scripted, like, or on the other hand like only the
Only
final?
like the grand finals, maybe,
Yeah,
possibly,
yeah.
yeah. But the fact that they're scripted means that it's just bullshit.
Right. All right. The next idea, like when it comes from, it's like when it get into like so it's like what do you think the actual like purpose like behind this is like? Let's heard like a lot of people like talk about like everything is like all about like money.
I think it's just about power and money. That's
co-
what it is.
control though, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
especially because like something like I've definitely learned like is that like all these like secret like societies like the Freemasons love to like show people like that, like they can like control everything, like chances are like, most people like aren't even like realize it, like
Yeah.
but
Yep.
but then also like having said like like
COVID's a good example as well, because I know we're going a bit off topic, but
yeah,
everyone seems to have
it's fine,
had a lot of cognitive dissonance about it.
right.
And they've just gone back to how they were, and they've just forgotten what happened.
Interesting. That sounds like super interesting. Like so many people like, for 3 years, like all those people like were just like following orders, like everyone was like acting the exact same way. Like everyone was like under this like brainwashing.
Spell.
Like
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. Like everyone was like under this like brainwashed spell. But then as soon as the leaders like let up, like everyone just like goes back to normal, and like totally forgets like everything it just happened, and like so many people are actually forgetting like everything like actually happened like over the past
I haven't forgotten. Have you
years.
forgotten?
And definitely am not. So like, I definitely haven't forgotten like all of the ridiculous like measures like that were put in place, like all of the mandates, like restrictions, and then like on top of that, like all of my fellow people like treating me differently, like because like I wasn't going along with that stuff.
Yeah, it's just been crazy.
Yeah. What was that like in Australia? Especially considering, like, as far as I know, like, Australia like actually had like, one of the worst places like when they actually came to all this stuff. Like, so like,
I actually
was
lost my
that like?
job during the pandemic because I didn't take any of
Really,
the injections. Yeah.
really?
And I had
Wow.
to wait a year and 7 months to go back, but it was with a different company.
Really? What were you actually doing during
Well,
that time?
partly was looking at all this Gematria stuff.
It's-
And I saved up about 20
oh,
grand in that time period that I was working to live off until I got back into the workforce.
that's
So,
smart.
yeah.
Wow. And that's honestly I'm so crazy. Wait. So did you lose many friends? Like, what was
Uh,
anyone treating
I
you
don't have
differently
that
during this
many
time?
friends to begin with, but I think that's been by design because maybe this was
Right.
all meant to happen. Yeah.
Maybe, yeah. So like, I'm honestly, I'm totally with you on that. Like, so like, I've actually always been someone who never wanted to.
Not so much of a loner, but like you want to keep to yourself.
Right, yeah. I'm like him, so I've also like always been someone who's always like very picky, like when like comes to, like who actually led into my life, like who actually give my time, like and energy to like was actually super important, like so it's like protecting like our internal energy, like protecting like my like, environment, because that's so pivotal, like because like a lot of people like are just like freely giving themselves up like like everyone, and then like what ends up happening like then like falling into like it's like groupthink, and like ends up and like making wrong decisions, right?
Yeah, it's a lot of peer pressure. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Have you researched any of these secret societies and stuff like that? Like over the past few years, or no?
I've looked on the internet, but I haven't really gone deep into it.
Right. Do you think like the only secret society like who's like controlling the pro sports, and like who's like controlling like all the games and stuff like that? Like, do you think
Yeah,
like
definitely. Yeah. Yep.
so like do you think it's the Freemasons, like more on the other hand, like do you think there
It's interesting
actually
when
like
I
some
when I
like other
type in some
organizations
of the
involved?
players' names on the calculator that play in the
Mhm.
AFL, a lot of their names equal 56, and 56 is a big
What is
Freemason number.
Really? Wait.
Yeah.
So like, can we actually try this out, like some of the players? All right. So like, let me get back to the screen.
I've got it on my email address. Hold on a sec.
Uh-huh.
Where is it? Yeah, if you type in the word Freemasons, it comes up with 56.
Right. All right. Reverse reduction is 56 for anyone listening. All right. So 56. So now tell me some of the players' names.
Yeah, just hold on. It's loading.
Mhm.
I've also got a Patreon group that talks about all this stuff.
That's awesome. What other topics do you guys usually talk about?
Oh, we just mainly talk
in the
about
pitch?
the AFL, to be honest. Yeah.
Are you ever gonna try to get into like some of these other sports leagues? Like, so like, would you consider like I'm trying to predict the NFL, like the NBA, like more many of that stuff, or no?
I could, but the guy that does it best, his name's Zach Hubbard. I don't know if
Well,
you
like
can Google him or
yeah, what's his name?
Zachary Hubbard.
Is this him? Creating knowledge.
Yep. Maybe
That's
don't
him?
put in Patreon. Just
Yeah.
that's his Patreon page. But yeah, he charges people money. I don't. So that's where I sort of disagree with him, because yeah, he shouldn't be
Right.
charging people cash. But
Well, like something else, like I've actually heard. There's actually this one like famous quote, like that actually goes like, if you're good at something, like
see on the website how you've
you
got
actually shouldn't
the
do it for
fourth
free.
one that says number games 9/11 to coronavirus. Click on that.
It's probably not gonna let me in though. Like,
I've got
unless I
the
join.
link to send you.
All right.
Stay with me.
Yeah. Of course.
Wait.
Take your time. You're good.
How do I share this screen?
All right. Wait. So like, look at the bottom of the screen. Like, there should be a button that says present.
Yep.
And that should let you share your screen.
Oh yeah, sweet. Okay, can you see it?
All right, there we are. So now talk me through this.
Okay, so can you read the first page? I'll zoom in.
possible?
Hold on.
Yeah. I was gonna say if you could zoom in.
Yeah, is that a little bit better?
Yeah. All right. So it says, should you read this book if you think it is interesting that on September 11th, 2001, Flight 77 reportedly hit the 77-foot tall Pentagon in Washington, D.C. on the 77th Meridian West after taking off at 8:20 a.m. and crashing at 9:37 a.m. 77 minutes later, then this book is for you. Furthermore, if you comprehend that there is a code of numbers behind the letters of the English language, as simple as ABC is 1, 2, 3, and using this code reveals the phrases and names such as September 11th, World Trade Center, and Order from Chaos equate to 77. That's insane. This book is definitely for you. And please know, these are all facts, just the same as is the fact that Pentagon construction began September 11th, 1941, just prior to Pearl Harbor. That's insane. Oh my god. That's crazy.
It's not crazy when you think about it.
Does the number 77 like holds any significance like in the secret societies?
No, it doesn't hold any significance. It's just the fact that they've used it. Yeah.
Right, yeah. Because like speaking of which, the most well-known like, and also like the most like famous number like in Freemasonry like is always 33, like because like it also do with like the whole like 33rd degree Mason, all that stuff. And like something that's actually very interesting. Like, were you actually paying attention like to any of the American football stuff last year? Like when it came to the whole Damar Hamlin situation?
Oh yes, I saw that.
Yeah,
Yep.
so it's like after that happened, like they were actually 33s like everywhere. Like every player was actually wearing 33, and then like everything that like happened like after that like it was all like associated with like someone like wearing a 33. Like more on the hand, like some people like were actually holding up 33s. That whole situation, yeah. I mean, that whole situation was definitely totally staged. I think, right? You think so too?
Yeah, and how can someone that has a heart attack still play sport?
Right. Right,
It's
yeah.
impossible.
So like that same player like came back a few months later, and I'm like man's like playing football like totally fine, and then also you actually see like when he was actually in the booth, and I'm like he was actually doing the 666 like hand signals, like and he was like doing all that stuff like
Yeah, it's
and then
insane, isn't it? Yeah.
yeah, I mean that whole situation like was definitely 1,000% like staged, like that whole situation like was that seems so like obvious. I feel. Do you have any other interesting like stories like you want to share from this book or
Let me have a look.
just that one?
No, it's got 365 pages, which
Oh
is
yeah,
interesting because apparently
yeah.
there's 365 days in the year. I thought that was
Right.
cool.
But also, like speaking of, it's like, have you ever looked into like any of our messed up timelines and any of that stuff, or no?
Oh yeah, yeah. I don't believe
Yeah,
we're in the year 2024.
yeah. Based on that, like, what year, like, do you actually think it is right now for us?
I honestly don't know. What year do you think it is?
Actually, had someone on my podcast, like, I want to say 2 months ago, like, like he was actually saying to me, like, he actually, like, fully believes that, like, we've actually had, like, 1,000 years, like, added, like, onto our timelines, like, so based on that, like, he actually thinks, like, we're only in the year like 1024, like as opposed to 2024, and then something else like I also like find interesting, like when it comes to the names of our months, like December, deck. So like deck,
October 8th. Yeah.
yeah, should be 10. Like oct should be 8. Like sept should be 7. Like but like the people like who like in power like have obviously fully manipulated that. Like and also something else like I actually found like super interesting recently. Like the month July like was actually only added like recently, I think. Like I heard somewhere recently that like July was only added like within like the past like a few 100 years or something like that, which is like really crazy. Like I
I
definitely
actually think there's 13 months in the year.
yes. Yes. So like, do you think like there should be 13 28-day months?
Yep, definitely. Because
Same
that equals
here.
364.
Yeah, there's also supposed to be like one more day in there. I think like yeah, and then also like New Year like should actually be starting in spring. Like so, like, the New Year is supposed to be like starting like in like December, like in January, like when like everything is like dying, and then like all of the leaves off the trees, and like it's like snowing. The weather like is like horrible, like it's like it's actually not the way like God actually intended it to be. I don't think.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Do you have any other topics like you want to
No,
talk about in this episode?
I think that's it. Yeah,
All
yeah.
right. All right. Well, like, thank you.
Thank you.
So much for him coming on. Like, it's been like a truly mind blowing episode. Like, I mean, I definitely think like everyone like watching find this like super interesting. So like, do you want to tell my viewers like where to find your Patreon and stuff?
Hold on a second.
Let me just see if I have any other questions for you. Like, 'cause, like I might have one more.
So yep. So everyone, that is the site to search for.
All right. Awesome. Wait. So
And
like,
it doesn't actually cost anything. That's misleading there. So it
oh,
doesn't cost anything to
all right.
join.
Awesome. I'm definitely gonna check that out. Like, I mean, then like, there's actually one other question like I'm actually have for you. Do you think like pro sports like have always been have like always been like rigged like as like part of this whole like breads and circus
Yep.
like, kind of thing? Like
Yeah.
more on the other hand, like do you think like this is like of like scripting sports like, is actually a newer concept? What do you think?
Well, how come I showed you the stuff from 1948 and it worked?
Right. True. It's honestly a very good point. Like you actually made like some like super interesting points during this episode. You definitely gave me
And I want to show
as well as
you.
the listeners a lot to think about.
Can you see?
Mhm.
Sorry, Jared. Can you see
Yeah.
how on the top of that website it says Grand Final and Chris Fagan,
Yes.
and it says 86-86? Type in
Yes.
the 2023 Grand Final.
Mm-hmm. You're right. What am I typing in?
Like just on the internet, not the Gematria, just
Oh,
the
oh.
internet.
What did you say? The 2023 grand
So
final?
type in 2023 grand final.
All right. And now what am I looking for?
Just the first one that comes up. Are you on the AFL?
Yes. It says Brisbane Lions 86, Collingwood 90.
And he coached the Brisbane Lions, and they kicked 86 points, and that was the coach's name.
Really? That sounds super interesting. I don't even know like how anyone can possibly refute like any of these concepts anymore.
Well, they could be all coincidences, but I don't think they are.
Right? Yeah. Like, how many more examples do you have
I've got 65, and I only spent about 2 days looking all those up.
Right. All right. Well, once again, like this has been super interesting. I wanted to thank you so much
Thank
again
you
for joining me. Of course, it was an absolute pleasure. So, anyways, guys, please check out Nathan's content. Make sure to subscribe to my channel
And
if you
it's
haven't done
free.
so
It doesn't
already.
cost anything.
It's free, so everyone should be checking that out. I will catch you guys in the next episode. Peace.